it's always a pleasure to be with Dave and Minoshi in the center there. I've known Dave and Minoshi for 30 years now. I met them when I first came out of my first long retreat. And then we got to, about 6 months later, we met up in Toronto for a 7-day, all-night chud retreat with Kalkajes and Dumpa, where we couldn't talk from the time he said good evening to us, what was about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, till we saw him at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we had to go to a different place every night to do this chud practice because it was supposed to be in 7 different cemeteries, but it was January in Toronto, so we obviously couldn't be outside. So we went to lots of different places. Sometimes it was somebody's living room, one time it was a church, one time, it was somebody's basement. And there were 32 of us, which he thought was an auspicious number because that's like Vajragini's body mandala. And so we divided up into cars. And so my partner at the time, Roger, and I went with Dave and Minoshi every night. So we got to be really close to them without ever talking to them. It was very nice. And so we just get in their car and drive to where we had to go. And somehow we managed to be all 32 people without ever speaking. And we did this chud practice 4 times in the night. And then we could finish it in 2 hours. We had to be back at Zazat Rinpoche Center at 9 o'clock in the morning, where we would go and one by one prostrate to Kalkajes and Dumpa Rinpoche, and then we could speak again. It was an amazing time. He gave us empowerments every morning, different empowerments, and every afternoon he, there's Henny. And every afternoon he would teach us how to do, the chanting and everything. It was quite an amazing time. So I have a pretty connection with them. And then they came and did High Retreat about a year later out at Vajrapani Institute with Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And it was right after that Minoshi got sick. And then she had MS for 20 years and then miraculously got better. And then I went into this 4-year Yamantaka retreat, and I was explicitly told to do the Drukjuma practice for Minoshi every single day. So I did that. It's a protective practice that's big in the Galupas. And I did that every day. I mean, I would start out with Minoshi, but I did it I had quite a few sponsors in that retreat. But so again, I thought about Minoshi every single day. So she's very special friend to me, this little Dakini, amazing lady, and Dave, her protector, who's also quite amazing. And now they started this center and they brought Kedra Pier and Geshe Sonam. It's just amazing, So, okay, we're doing Medicine Buddha. I haven't gone to any of the other sessions, so I'm just going to jump in for this little session. And
If you if you want it on the screen, I do have it. So just let me know what you prefer. I'm here just in case.
Well, it's very, very simple. So, actually, yeah, that is the one I want to do. So I can just read it. I mean, it's just 2 pages. If people want to have it on the screen, do you want to have it on the screen? It's up to you. Put up your thumb if you want it on the screen like that. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's Nina. Hi, Nina. Okay. Well, first of all, in case you didn't hear, Minoshi's mom is in the hospital. She fell and hit her head. And I suppose if you have other people you would really like to include in the dedication, maybe take a moment now and type them into the chat. And either I or Kendra can read it at the end. Right. So this is a very simple meditation that was composed by Lama Tupten Sopa Rinpoche. And I like it because it's so simple. And the other reason is because it deals with the 5 elements. And so much of healing is about working with the 5 elements. Hi, Dakey Lee, as Dakey Lee knows. because that's what we do with the White Tara practice that we do a couple times a month. So let's just, as always, we start by sitting with our backs as straight as possible without being tense. It probably won't take more than an hour to do this because it is very short. And then if you want, we can have a question answer at the end, or you can just leave. So first we start by just feeling the breath and noticing the breath as it enters our nostrils. And feeling our bellies expanding and making a connection between the nostrils, the crown of the head, and the base of the spine. And everything in between, the spine in between. Noticing our posture. Feeling where we're tense, relaxing our jaw, allowing the tongue to loosely touch the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, and feel the opening at the back of the mouth. It allows the whole sinus area to kind of open and relax. And the back of the skull. Because the back of the mouth is about the same horizontal area as the bottom of the skull. So then feeling that relationship between the skull and the spine, because we often are very tense there. So maybe just move your head around just a little bit in a circle, not a big circle, and just maybe front and back and side, and just see if we can open up that area just a little bit and relax. Feeling our mouth relaxing, our sinuses opening, and the brain feeling the breath, imagining it going into the brain and energizing the brain. And of course, the brain goes all the way down the spinal cord through the cerebral spinal fluid. And as we travel down the spine, notice the shoulders. Maybe lift them up a little bit and let them hang. Not losing the connection with the head. And feeling the area between the shoulder blades opening, the chest lifting a bit. Breathing into the lower ribs, letting the belly open in the front. And then bringing awareness down to where the pelvic girdle meets the spine. And just as we moved our head around, you can do that again if you want. Feels good. Just doesn't have to stretch. Just move around and feel like it's opening. And then notice the coccyx area where the spine connects with the pelvis, and rock your pelvis forward and back just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a big movement. And see if you can, maybe the way it was sitting before is all fine, but sometimes when you move your pelvis forward and back, maybe a tiny bit forward. You can feel your lower belly muscles relaxing more. And maybe you can move from side to side, feeling that area right at the base of the spine, or also just above there where the sacrum meets the spine. Because that's another place where we hold tension. And see if we can imagine as we breathe all the way down there that there's relaxation going into our hip sockets and down our legs and feet and knees. So that we use our mind's eye to touch the whole body. Bringing our awareness, we forgot our shoulders, our arms. Bringing our awareness down the arms into all the fingers, the hands, the palms. Maybe you're putting your palms, your hands in your lap with your thumbs together. A lot of people think that when you meditate, you don't, it's very, you hold your body still. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can be more like a gentle, fluid movement. Paying attention to the third eye area. Either your eyes slightly open or shut. Feel like that third eye space. It's almost like, in the old days when you had a camera lens that opened up. Like open up. Almost like you can breathe there, that there's a place to breathe there as well. It breathes up into the brain and down the spine. And then just take a moment. You can put your hands on your knees and open your eyes slightly. We're going to do an exercise called orienting that helps to stabilize the mind. So all we're going to do is open our eyes and very slowly turn our head first to the left, feeling all the body as we do it. We can, if you have that kind of awareness, slowly turning your head to the left. Not really looking at anything, but your eyes are open. And once you go to the left, slowly you bring leading with your eyes, your head back around. Keeping that relationship, keeping the openness between the bottom of the skull and the spine. And feeling that as you move your head round to the right, slowly round to the right. Breathing into the belly. Noticing the body. And then once you've gone all the way to the right, we go back to the left. And we go to the left 3 times. So this is number 2. Just slowly, relaxingly looking around the room. Still being aware of the body where you might be tensing in your solar plexus or grabbing your knees or tensing your shoulders, and just allow yourself to feel safe and okay. And if you need to be in a chair, that's fine. If you want to lie down, that's okay too, as long as you don't fall asleep, but maybe you need to sleep. The whole point of this exercise is that it's okay. Whatever we're doing, it's all, there's no more judging. There's no more I ought to be this and I ought to be that. You're just being with what is. Okay, now I've gone to the left 3 times. I'm going to go to the right one more time. And then slowly bring your attention back to the middle. And either close your eyes or have them slightly open. And just breathe, noticing the breath going in and out. And just kind of explore the idea of feeling the whole body from the inside, almost like it becomes like a balloon, hollow, light, and feel as if the pores of the skin open so that now we breathe with all of our pores, breathing in the nourishing chi that is in the universe all the time. And just have faith that this nourishing chi is going to whatever organ or part of the body that needs energizing. With each inhale and with each exhale, just have faith that the things that we need to discharge the toxins, either emotional or mental thoughts or physical toxins, are just leaving us. Either back out through the pores, or if you're more familiar with the feeling of them going down through your lower doors into the earth. We're just going to sit and just be for a little bit longer before we start, and just allow whatever's happening to be there without pushing it away or inviting in more thoughts. Just paying attention, even if it's like, why are we doing this? Just be with it. this particular practice has a motivation written by Lama Zopa, so I'll read that. The purpose of my life is to free all living beings from all their problems and the causes of their problems, which originate in their minds, and to bring all beings peace and happiness, especially the peerless happiness of full enlightenment, which they desperately need. So then let's just take a moment to think about the desperately need of this, and think of how you relate to that personally, with your own recognition of the Four Noble Truths, your own recognition of the need for ease in the life, whether it's just the dis-ease of modern contemporary life in Canada and the first world, or the desperate need of people in war-torn places and economically challenged places and political desperate places, and that of animals and spirits and all the realms. And maybe we can increase this with remembering the four immeasurables, wishing everyone to be free of these desperate needs, whether they know it or not. And not just the obvious things, the pain and suffering, but also the terrible plight of just ignorance, of not recognizing our pride, how that gets in the way, our need for status, for reputation, for stuff, and just the suffering of that mind that is never or rarely satisfied and quiet. We just have this, it's like we aren't hungry ghosts, but it's almost like our minds are hungry ghosts, because they're always, we're hardwired to be constantly looking for danger, looking for something, to hold on to. So something that I find very interesting to explore now or another time is seeing if you can actually sort of isolate that part of the mind that's always going, there's always a part of the mind that wants to be holding on to something, whether it's a thought or a feeling or just needing to be distracted. It's almost like, can we turn around and look at that directly head on, instead of being its slave or being suffering from it? Looking directly into that grasping mind. Hello. When we look directly into it, almost I can open up. Most of the time, we're just a total slave to it. This suffering, is the root of samsara. And may all beings be free from that one. And experience the bliss of openness. And may beings be happy. And this great joy that comes from the lack of grasping. And of course, equanimity is just a normal byproduct of that. So going back to the desperately needing sentient beings, for me to be able to lead them, to teach them, to show them, I must free my own mind first. And for this, I need causes and conditions. Because I don't have the merit. I don't have the positive power. Just be, look, relax. Discover my subtle, omnipresent mind. And so for this, I have to create the causes to be healthy and strong and not overwhelmed with anxiety and depression and fear, these things that cover up, keep us preoccupied. Rather than being able to just turn around and look at their source. So, in order to benefit living beings, and as Lama Zopa says, equaling to the extent of space, I'm going to practice this very simple medicine Buddha healing meditation. So, it's very simple. Perhaps we should think about taking refuge. It's the doorway to all of our practices. It's not actually in this book, little booklet, but we can take refuge. And in this case, the medicine Buddha is in our chest on a white 8-petal lotus. Just simple medicine Buddha, not the 8 medicine Buddhas. I think we all know what he looks like. He's just like Buddha. Only in his hand, his lap is the begging bowl filled with the medicinal nectar, and in his right hand he holds the stem of the healing plant, the aurora plant. And it shines with this dark blue light that pervades our body. So always, there's a little part of our mind we're always paying attention to keeping this, what we set up in the beginning, this open body, the relaxed neck and pelvis and open, like hollow body, so that this healing light of medicine Buddha can pervade all the cells of our body. So we connect with the light, not the physical body, the light body, the subtle body that also exists within the space of me, and maybe even a little bit outside of it. So medicine Buddha is seated on the moon disk in the center of this white lotus. So just get that clear. And understanding that the medicine Buddha is completely beyond this grasping, this experiencing everything is truly inherently existent, that cannot feel this deep compassion for all sentient beings. So we imagine what that feels like, what that would be like, and we take refuge in that. We place our mind, and whatever, however close we get to it, we place our mind there. And imagine that this healing light of 5 colored lights going out from Medicine Buddha's heart, going out through our whole body, out through all the pores of our body, and touching all the sentient beings that are in desperate need of ease, of healing. And for some, for food, shelter, and all those that are lonely. Especially at this holiday time, people are even more alone than usual, if they are alone. So it's good to remember that this healing light from Medicine Buddha, it's not just light, it's in the nature of love and compassion. So let's think, each one of us on our own, something that brings to mind, some experience that you have that you can remember, or you can just think of people you know that touches that feeling of open-heartedness, of care, and of love. That is the key to the doorway to the true nature, is through love, because it softens us, lessens the grasping, and creates the cause for the Buddha's body and mind. So bring to mind people that you love and allow this light from Medicine Buddha to go out with that feeling of wishing them to be happy and loved and cared for and free of pain. They might even have passed on. They're somewhere in the universe. Our loved ones and our enemies. And then, so however big you've made this lotus and moon and Medicine Buddha in your heart, it could be the size of your thumb or the size of your thumbnail or whatever comes naturally to you. But first, next, we're going to add 4 goddesses. And in the front of Medicine Buddha is a white medicinal goddess. And she is the goddess of water and the water element and everything related to that. We'll get back to that. And to his right, which means our right, because Medicine Buddha is facing forward in my heart, is the yellow goddess. Her name is Simultaneous Wealth. The front one is called Actualized Wisdom. And this is the goddess of earth. And behind the Medicine Buddha, looking backwards, looking behind us, is the red forest goddess, the peacock's throat. This is the fire element. And to his left is the green tree goddess, the radiant one. Each goddess is in the nature of blissful radiant light and has 1 face and 2 arms. An aurora plant is in each goddess's right hand, and a vase adorned with various ornaments in the left. The 4 goddesses sit cross-legged in the aspect of offering respect to the healing Buddha. So I don't really know what that means, but maybe it's like Tara. Let's just think of it like Tara. And so then we all make a request to the medicine Buddha and the goddesses to please pacify the illnesses that afflict me now and help me avoid all future sickness. So light rays of color emanate from the heart of the five deities. So I think we'll take one by one slowly and then all together. And so first, but as we do that, we think that our heart and body are full of blissful light. Remember, this light is warm in the nature of love. And it completely purifies all the diseases, spirit harms, negative actions, and their imprints. And beams of five-colored light radiate from the pores of our body, just as how we set it up earlier. And this nectar then flows from the healing Buddha's begging bowl and the vases held by the four goddesses and completely fills our hearts, and then from the heart out to the entire body. And we can generate then the strong recognition that all the diseases have forever been vanquished from our hearts and we'll never be sick again. So before we recite the mantra, we'll just go back to the goddesses one by one. So we'll start with goddess on the left, which is the yellow goddess. And light rays radiate from her, healing. Actually, we can imagine that this light radiates from all of them, healing everything in our bodies and minds that has to do with the element of earth. So on a gross level, all of the physical bits, our bones, our organs, our muscles, our teeth. And then if we think about the five Dhyani Buddhas, then it also is purifying our miserliness, our pride, and giving us this wisdom of equanimity that sees ourselves as no different, not higher, not lower than anyone else. And everything that I have is also everybody else's. It makes me very generous and open and very grounded. Very little room for anxiety when the earth element is strong. We fill our bodies with yellow light. And we can then focus our attention to the goddess behind us, the fire element. Of course, when you're seeing red light, this has to do with the heat in our body. And also with the chemical interactions, our digestion. Some of us are too hot, some of us are too cold. And that goes for our emotions as well. Some of us are dull-minded, and some of us are too quick-minded. The fire element is related to clear seeing, cutting through ignorance also. And we can imagine this light, red light, all through our bodies, going out through our pores and touching other beings as well, if that comes easily to you. If you're new to this type of meditation, just continue paying attention to your breath. And as you breathe in, focus your attention on the medicine Buddha and the deities. And as you breathe out, you just feel this red light going all through your body, bringing healing, blissful energy. You can change our attention now to the green goddess, which is on our left. I think I had them backwards before. I'm sorry. Dyslexia. So the left is the green one, on the right is the yellow one. Main point is this is the of the elements. So this is the wind element, which also has a lot to do with our mind. Our minds are very busy and distracted and uncalms because the wind is fired up. And so if we bring in the earth element, it helps to calm the wind element. But it also has to do with lungs, the respiratory system. And our capacity to get things done. Or they're too busy, too ambitious, or too lazy. And again, just allowing the green light and the nature of love and healing penetrate the entire body. And radiating out to all sentient beings. And we go to the white deity in front, and this is the water element. Our body is made up mostly of water. Purifying all of our emotional afflictions and just letting the body be filled with white light, with some kind of confidence that Medicine Buddha is in my heart. This is healing me. Just allowing that healing power to go wherever it's needed in our body, in our mind, in the subtle body, gross body. And sharing it with everybody on this Zoom and all of their families, circles, friends, strangers, enemies. All my relations. Finally, it's the dark blue light of the Medicine Buddha related to the element of space, which has to do more with mind. Mind like space. All the space in between the grasping thoughts, feelings. First, we discovered the space between the thoughts, feelings, emotions. And slowly we discover the space in which they all occur. Where the mind is the space, the sky, the thoughts, the feelings, and emotions are just the clouds. Sometimes a day like today where there's no clear sky and our minds are hampered by incessant grasping. And sometimes the mind is more like the sky and there's just little clouds. And sometimes On a good day, we can watch the clouds disperse. So take the sense of self and spread it out to the far reaches of space, knowing that this is Medicine Buddha's blessing. So there's no more room for grasping for true existence. There's just this eternal expansion of love and space. And then quietly in the depths of our being, to continue to energize these lights, this light, this space, and the healing of the five elements. We can then begin to recite the Medicine Buddha mantra, either quietly to ourselves like we hear it, or with our voices. And we can allow, rather than doing it, just feel, but let come what will, either one of the colors or all the five colors. And just let this inner knowing, not the conscious one, but the inner one, the inner Buddha potential, give our bodies and our minds what they need through the blessing of the mantra. Tayata Om Bhikansi Bhikansi Maha Bhikansi Bhikansi Ranji Samakate So. And also, if it's more comfortable for you, you can bring the visualization, the imagination, or just the feeling, or just the knowing of the white lotus and moon and the medicine Buddha and four goddesses. You can bring it right down to the navel if that helps to stabilize you more. Your choice. Taida Om Bikanzi Bikanzi Maha Bikanzi Bikanzi Randa Samagati Soha. Bekansi Bekansi Maha Bekansi Bekansi Ranja Samugati. So we'll do the long healing mantra, but maybe you don't have it there, so we won't do the long healing mantra. It's okay. So then we can just once again just feel the medicine Buddha in our heart and the four goddesses, inseparable with all the Buddhas, the gurus. And then we just relax and feel, imagine that this healing energy goes out, to first just the local area where we live and then out through all the universe, touching the hot spots in our personal lives. Taking a moment to generate a little bit of gratitude. I find that really heals a lot of antipathy we might have towards people and places and things. Just remembering the goodness in our lives, the blessings, Buddhas, being able to be on Zoom together, and the good things that we receive even from those that harm us. The opportunity to purify, negative karmas with every harm. I remember once Lama Zopa Rinpoche said, when people harm us, we can have compassion for them because our karma is finished, We purified some kind of painful thing we did to them, but now they've just created the cause to be harmed in the future. So if we really think about it like that, rather than being upset or resenting people, we can just be so sorry that in their ignorance they've created the cause to experience unpleasantness, even pain in the future. So in this way we can rejoice in all the harms we experience as well as all the goodness. All the harms we experience can be turned around, like Dickie Lee's accident. Look at her now. We all have examples in Minoshi, in our own personal lives, how we can transform what appears to be misfortune into actually greatness. Disease, hardship, sorrow, loss, jealousy, anger, all of them. Every moment is an opportunity to experience, create the cause to experience that sky, open, true nature of mind. The essence of Dharmakaya. So we can end the meditation by sending these 5 colored lights out to all the realms and all the environments. Sending out through the engine of love. And as this expansion of mind, consciousness, energy goes out and out and out, that little hard dot that feels like me just melts also into space. There's still awareness, but it's beyond me being aware of that. It just is. And even though a thought may come, it's like, when you're at someplace and an airplane flies through the sky and it's got these letters behind it, like Happy Birthday, Marianne, or something. Just feel those thoughts like that, like this little airplane passing through the sky. It doesn't, although we let it disturb our mind, it doesn't have to. In one of the teachings of Mahamudra, of the 6 ways of looking, one of them is the bird that leaves no trace when it flies. Just the bird, the thought just flies across the space. With an emptiness, there is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no sound, no taste, no tactile object, no high element up to no element of mental consciousness. But it doesn't mean the bird doesn't fly through the sky. It does. But that's not me. And according to Lama Rinpoche, that is where the real healing comes. So we'll just thank you for your patience, and we'll end this meditation, and I'll read. I think it's important to read Lama Rinpoche's words, dedicating for this little child, that all this healing meditation of this little child, this little consciousness of Lama Rinpoche has everything he or she, could be a little girl, needs to feel all, especially the first 7 years of life, when it's so important to feel protected and safe and loved and stimulated with kindness and curiosity. So the dedication says, because of all my positive actions of the past, present, and future, which brings happiness, may the ultimate good heart, which cherishes all living beings and is the source of the three-time happiness of myself and others, arise in those minds where it has not yet risen, and increase in those minds where it has already sprung. Because of my three-time positive actions, I think that means past, present, future, may those of all holy beings whose attitude is the purest, may all the kind Father and Mother sentient beings have happiness.